What up guys, it's Justice here. I hope you're all having a great week. This video is around the first Dragonstone poll system where we're allowed to vote as players to determine what's going to happen in the game and how things are going to change, what future updates are going to be launched in the game. Now, this, I absolutely love that Jagex have allowed us as players to actually really influence the game. Now, they do this on 2007 old school RuneScape, and now they're bringing it to RS3, probably due to the success that it's had. And if any of you are old school players, then I'm sure you understand exactly why it has came to RS3. So any RS3 players who only play RS3 like myself, we're very new to this sort of thing. So usually we get updates imposed onto us, and there's no really user acceptance, or the user acceptance is quite limited. Now, as RuneScape players adapting to change, you know, we've saw lots of impacts around the game. So EOC came out, huge neglect against the game and against Jagex for releasing that. However, people have adapted and gone into it. The devotion prayer, 100% protection. People now neglect that. We can now actually protect 100%. However, the game used to be 100% protection prayers 100% of the time, all the time. So there's loads of different variants and loads of different changes in RuneScape, but now they're allowing us as users and players of the game to actually influence the decisions they make and what updates they actually develop and spend time on. Now, hopefully that will work out for the best and benefit both us as customers and players, as well as them as the producers and developers, in terms of everybody should be a lot more happier now with the way the game's going to go and the direction the game's going to take. Now, I haven't voted yet, and the reason for that is I wanted to put a bit of a twist on this and potentially make it into multiple videos going into the future. This is something which is going to be in the game, guys, and I feel like we need to embrace it, and I found a way of doing that. So basically, I would like you guys to try and influence and persuade my decision in terms of, I want you to really engage in this video and write comments around what you've chosen, what you're thinking of choosing, and why, and really go into depth of why. You know, this is a big decision around the Elf City and lore, history, you know, storylines, quests, or invention skill, PVM, killer or skiller, no questing. So there's loads of different decisions and inputs into why you would make a decision on either one. So let me know, guys, and I will screenshot those comments that grab my attention the most in the next video, where I will then tell you guys what I actually chose, where that video will incorporate my decisions, screenshots of comments, why I've chose it, and then it'll address a new poll which is going to impact the game, and we'll engage again. And this is something quite different and unique, I think, from what I've seen out there, and I really want us to engage and interact a bit more together, and this series will help us do that. You know, I really do love reading your comments and engaging with the debate and heated discussion, so comment, and also comment on each other's comments. Now, to put things into perspective, this poll system which is going to be launched on the RuneScape homepage, it tells you exactly what order, how often these polls are going to come up. So I'll just wrap that up for you. There's going to be one a month in terms of a Dragonstone poll. So that poll is going to be the biggest impacts on the game. It's going to change the direction of the game and the way we play the game. So for example, this month it's Invention versus the Elf City, which I'm going to go into depth with soon. Then you've got the Ruby polls, the Diamond polls. These Diamond ones are usually fortnightly, so you'll get 2 a month approximately, and these will cover key game features. So key game features, I'm not sure what this is going to be linked to, but for example, it could be linked to different drop table, improving the loot for different bosses like it is this week or over the next 2 weeks, from 13th of January to 20th of January. Then you've got the Ruby poll system, which for this week, it's on deciding on the maps for a new mini game. Now that's quite interesting, but all of these ones I'm going to go over in a separate video. This video is going to be largely on the Dragonstone because it is a huge impact on the game, and whatever is voted on is going to be released approximately July-August time. Now, to get straight into a comparison between the Invention skill and the Elf City in terms of my thoughts around it and the pros and cons which I feel it's going to bring to the game, but also my specific type of playstyle and potentially your playstyles, because I'm guessing a lot of you may link to the type of playstyle I play due to the videos you watch and why you've subscribed, maybe due to my PVM content, etc. So I'm going to get into a really in-depth discussion now and my thoughts around Invention and Elf City. Now, to start this battle off between the Invention skill and Elf City, we have Invention, explosives, lightning conductors, customizable new gear to fit the playstyle of the player. So this could mean a tank or a DPS. In my situation, probably more swaying towards the tank side. I do DPS fairly often though. This could also mean maybe even hybrid gear. So are you a soloer? Do you like to hybrid in the new Armadyl War Priest armor, etc.? The World Event 2 armors, will that have a bigger impact into this skill? There's also new weapons and gear setups that actually develop personalities depending on how you use them. So you can actually name these items. So for example, I would name mine the Justice armor, where every single damage dealt will be justified, I can assure you. Now this would be a really epic update, I think, in terms of how we interact with the game in terms of player versus monster. It's going to completely change the way we interact with the game and the way we use our weapons. It will completely transform our thinking and the way we think in terms of when we set up our inventory, the way we think when we set up our armor. Now it says that it develops the armor depending on your playstyle. Does that mean if you're tanking more with a shield, can you develop your armor to have higher life points, maybe a higher armor rating at the sacrifice of damage? Or can you develop your armor sets in terms of having more damage at the sacrifice of armor rating and life points? Now, will we be able to determine that? Do you guys think that's a good thing, that we can actually determine our armor ratings and life points? I don't know whether that's going to happen, but that's what I'm speculating. I think that would be a very good way that Jagex could actually figure this out, in terms of they've already got the setup, the basic mechanics in terms of power armor, tank armor, and hybrid armor. So why not incorporate that and allow us to develop our armor sets to incorporate and go down one of those three paths? Now, I'm going to incorporate something which wasn't incorporated in the Power to Players or the BTS video. This was incorporated at RuneFest. So the first time that soul weapons were heard of or spoken about was when ModMark launched this at RuneFest, and it links to the gods of RuneScape. Now, he gave a few hints as well to how potentially the invention skill will impact the gods and how it may affect the dynamics and the storyline of the 6th Age. So if you feel like you're going to vote for the Elf City because of the storyline, then to be honest guys, the invention skill is also going to have an impact on that storyline, which is probably swaying me as well towards that in terms of the pros and cons. Okay, so if the invention skill gets launched, you'll be able to create soul weaponry potentially. It's going to link. That will also impact the game and how we interact with the gods, potentially making us immortal in a type of way, in terms of we'll be able to actually resist and fight the gods due to us. If you've completed the World Wakes quest, we actually do have a power now to actually overcome gods. We've actually embraced and absorbed the power from Guthix when he died. He gave us that power, and it's going to mean something in the future. Potentially it's going to mean something when we use soul weapons. I'm not sure, that's just speculation again, but how cool would that be if we can actually impact the game in terms of the 3rd Age and the gods, and be able to actually fight the gods themselves, other than just their generals. We can actually fight them in the quests. So the World Wakes only allowed us to fight the generals. Will we be seeing some huge, not quest lines, but maybe some huge boss fights against the gods themselves in the future? I think so. Now, yes, I may be getting ahead of myself here, but I'm pretty excited, and to be honest, the invention skill I strongly believe will be the start of something new in terms of how we interact with the gods. And you can't link much more to lore and storyline than that. Now, I think one of the biggest parts here with Inventor is the customizability of the skill. Now, many PVMers out there, like myself, we like to customize ourselves and use Solomon's Store at the moment to actually do that. But that's cosmetic customization. This is going to allow us to go deeper than that and actually customize the armor ratings, or, you know, the uses of this armor. Now, I think a lot of PVMers are going to love that aspect of it. So if you are a strong PVMer and are passionate about PVM in RuneScape, then this may be the update for you. And this may be the update for me as well, but like I said, I'm undecided at this point. So just to highlight some pros and cons and some confirmed insight by Jagex mods on the RuneScape forums. Firstly, they're trying to move skills away from producing a whole load of items that nobody actually uses. So they're moving towards like the Artisan's Workshop, which I love the Artisan's Workshop, where they'll provide more XP rather than necessarily GP. However, a question of mine was, are these items which we can make going to be tradable? Now here, confirmed by mod Malta on the forums, he basically confirms that the skill will offer items that you can make and potentially sell for profit too, as a reward for us actually investing time into leveling it. Now, my prediction is that potentially the non-tradable items which you can make will be more valuable in terms of damage, etc. A bit like ports with the armor in terms of tanking. It's not only going to be weaponry that it's going to cover core armor pieces and potentially pocket slot items as well. So there's any questions answered around, is it just weapons? Divination will definitely be linked to the Inventor skill, obviously, because the Divination is the gathering, then the Inventor is the producing. So essentially I think the Divine Energy is going to play a big part in potentially making the weapons and things. There's no confirmation of that as of yet, but there is confirmation that Divine Energy will be an important part in the Inventor skill. Okay, so now into the Elf City, guys. Now, according to the BTS 86 video, this is supposed to be a stunning update, claims Jagex, graphically, but also potentially voiceovers, most definitely, such as One Piercing Note, which was launched into the game. I think it was the first voiceover RuneScape quest, which I absolutely loved and enjoyed. Maybe not due to the storyline, but mainly due to the new aspect of voiceovers, which I really enjoy in the game. This update maybe wait until HTML5 is out or launched to better reap the rewards and have an instant impact in terms of the graphical and beauty aspect of it. It's going to incorporate new training areas, new shops, stores, and so architecture is going to play a big part. It's going to have new combat battles with elven twists, which potentially will include new boss fights or quests which incorporate new boss fights. So when you compare this to the Invention skill, it's got three aspects. It's got questing, killing, and skilling. Now, if you compare that against the Inventor skill, which only incorporates killing and skilling, so essentially, you would think the logical decision would be Elf City due to it incorporating a lot more dynamics to the game and maybe pleasing a lot more different players in terms of playstyles. Now, the Elflands will have the same requirements as they do now in terms of completing Underground Pass. It was confirmed by Mod Osborne, however, that in order to get access to Elf City, the current plan is to make it only available to those who have completed within the Light quest. You can start this quest by speaking to Arianwyn, which is in Letia. Now, Letia actually means in Welsh lodge or barrack, because if you didn't know, the Elven language and the Elven cities are based on the Welsh language. Now, as I mentioned earlier, new training areas. Now, Mod Osborne has also confirmed that this may incorporate existing skills such as crafting and construction. Those are the two which he named, so obviously they've got that in thought to actually develop in the Elven City. Now, also, due to the new poll system, if Elf City is voted upon within the next 2 weeks, then potentially there will be diamond polls which actually influence the quest line. Now, one last thing which I will highlight. Now, I've read through all the forum comments, etc., and this one really stood out in terms of crystal armor. Now, guys, this could impact PVM again in a certain way, because obviously you've got the crystal bow and the crystal shield, which was launched, really useless almost now, but not for the right level players, very helpful. But maybe crystal armor will be launched again, which will be directed to maybe mid-tiered players, but again, all good for PVM, all good for player versus monster interaction. Now, I'm going to wrap this video up there, guys. Any other comments which you've read throughout the forum pages, or any concerns or things you've found out, I really encourage you to write in the comment section. And again, it's up to you guys to influence and persuade me what decision I'm going to be taking. Now, I'm quite a tough guy to budge. I usually stick with a decision. However, at the moment, my mind is open and you can input and influence my decision. So I strongly recommend write in the comment section, comment on each other's comments, and let me know what you guys think about this new Dragonstone poll. Again, thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video in a couple of days. See you guys. Happy scaping.